Almost all the biggest corporations in the world such as Apple, Facebook, Lockheed Martin, Tesla, MasterCard, DuPont, General Electric, Fox, Disney, Microsoft, Paramount, and IBM are said to be owned by the same people. Do you know who are the people behind these biggest corporations, including Johnson & Johnson, Procter & Gamble, Pfizer, PepsiCo, Merck, McDonald's, AT&T, United Health, Home Depot, Adobe, Thermo Fisher Scientific, AbbVie, Verizon, Danaher, Next Era Energy, AMD, Bristol Myers, CBS Health, and Accenture. These companies are largely taken over by the financial giants Blackrock and Vanguard. Blackrock Inc. is an American multinational investment management corporation based in New York City. It was founded in 1988 by Robert Capito, Susan Wagner, and Larry Fink. Larry Fink, an American Jewish, is the chairperson and CEO of the company.
Another giant financial firm by the name of Blackrock, led by a very well-connected billionaire by the name of Larry Fink. Blackrock was awarded these key government contracts to help with the meltdown with no competitive bidding while being enveloped in secrecy. Basically, Larry Fink was hired to be the manager of Washington's bailout of Wall Street, even though Blackrock is one of the biggest shareholders in the same banks they were helping to get bailed out, making Larry Fink the most powerful man in the post-bailout economy. Fast forward to the 2020 pandemic.
Rick, quick question for you, sir.
All
We're
right.
just getting word from the Federal Reserve, and this might be boosting the markets even more this afternoon. They are talking about the details of their corporate bond purchases.
The Fed making history today and for the first time ever began buying corporate debt ETFs. The unprecedented move driving an explosion in the corporate debt market.
We are committed to using our full range of tools to support the economy and to help assure that the recovery from this difficult period will be as robust as possible.
But again, as I mentioned, the Fed 2 weeks ago began buying individual corporate bonds, and we just got granular detail about what types of purchases it made yesterday.
And who did the money printer of the US, the Federal Reserve, hire to manage their scheme to buy corporate bonds? Basically, they were bailing out corporations that had too much debt to withstand the pandemic. You guessed it, they went right back to Blackrock. Even though, again, the same corporations Blackrock was helping to bail out were the same corporations that they own some of the biggest stakes in.
Keep in mind, though, these are just the top 10 holdings. The whole list, which the Fed has published on the New York Fed website, includes 794 companies. So yes, these are just the top 10 by holdings, but there are hundreds of other companies that could be part of the Fed's portfolio as well.
Larry Fink was the most powerful man in the post-bailout economy, and now he's arguably one of the most powerful men in the post-pandemic economy as well. And yet, despite all his considerable power, the general public has practically never heard of Larry Fink, with Blackrock barely coming into the public eye during the recent claims that they were buying up single-family homes. That's because Larry is smart. He's intentionally kept it that way. He spent the last 33 years building Blackrock into the biggest asset manager in the world, with over $9 trillion under their management. Not billion, trillion with a T. Today, Blackrock's clients include the retirement accounts of average everyday people in the form of pension funds. They also have sovereign wealth funds as their clients, other central banks, college endowments, Fortune 500 companies, and millions of individual investors. They're one of the top shareholders of many of the biggest publicly traded companies like Apple, Microsoft, Facebook, and even other major banks like Wells Fargo and Chase. And to put their $9 trillion into perspective, the 300 largest pension funds in the world only hold a collective $6 trillion.
Many people are still unaware that Blackrock is the world's largest investment manager. According to Business Insider, it oversees $10 trillion, making it the largest money manager in the world. As of December 2021, Blackrock manages a staggering $10 trillion of other people's money. That's more than the gross domestic product of every country in the world, except for the US and China. For its largest in investment management, it's a new firm by Wall Street institution standards. Blackrock makes most of its money handling investments for outside clients, mostly institutions like public pension plans, endowments, and foundations. Nearly 60% of its overall assets under management are for institutional investors, most of which are products linked to stock markets. It also has a sprawling alternative investments business that oversaw some $265 billion in assets under management as of December, managing products across private equity, private credit, and hedge funds. Blackrock runs a massive technology platform that oversees at least $21.6 trillion in assets. In a February 2020 report in the Financial Times detailed its sheer scale, quote-unquote Vanguard and State Street Global Advisors, the largest fund managers after Blackrock, are users as are half the top 10 insurers by assets, as well as Japan's 1.5 trillion government pension fund, the world's largest, Apple, Microsoft, and Google's parent firm. Alphabet, the three biggest U.S. public companies, all rely on the system to steward hundreds of billions of dollars in their corporate treasury investment portfolios. The report found some $21.6 trillion in assets sat on the platform from just a third of its 240 clients. The FT reported, citing public documents verified with the companies and first-hand accounts. Firms try to replicate it as a product, but none have been able to do so at the same scale. Added to that, Blackrock has hired many former government officials into senior roles. The firm also played a significant role in aiding the Federal Reserve in early 2020. During the last financial crisis, the Federal Reserve topped Blackrock too. On the other hand, Fink has been vocal on matters of climate change, urging other companies' leaders to consider the associated risks. But his firm has been scrutinized for its record on supporting shareholder requests for climate-related disclosures. Blackrock has been gobbling up lots of competitors in its path over the years. The firm has purchased legacy businesses and fintech startups, looking to keep an edge as traditional money management isn't as profitable or unique as it once was. I am Lovely Montoya of Manila STV.